And we welcome you back to America's Forum here on Newsmax TV. I'm John Bachman in for J.D. Hayward today. Alongside me, Newsmax TV's Francesca Page. And Francesca, we were talking about this in the commercial break, a new book out there that breaks down the root of all of our failures. And according to the author of this book, our inner hippies are to blame. And talking to us now is Frank J. Fleming, author of the book, Punch Your Inner Hippie, Cut Your Hair, Get a Job, and Make America Awesome Again. Someone doing yoga there on the cover. Frank, it's good to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Now, a lot of folks would say, you think back to the counterculture movement of the 1960s, there was a lot of good that came along with everything, music, culture, maybe a lot of bad too, but that bad is still sticking around today and that's causing some of our problems. Explain.
Well, it's the philosophy of the hippie, and that's the sort of the whininess, the laziness, I'm just going to complain about problems until somebody who actually is going to do the work solves them for me. And that's what's infiltrated us. And as I explain in my book, it's not just in the 60s. This hippie influence has actually been throughout human history and caused the collapse of a number of different civilizations.
Well, give us some examples of some of those other civilizations you're talking about.
Well, like the Roman Empire. They ended up just, having holidays every single day and hanging out in togas. And eventually the barbarians just knocked them down. It's when society advances enough, they start to feel privileged, like they deserve everything they have and won't work for it anymore. Then they get overthrown.
Frank, could you explain to us what you believe to be hippie behavior?
Well, I break it down. I call it the matrix of hippie failure. It's in the book. You start out with laziness, and branching off of that is like phone intellectualism, and also surrounding it all is whining, which is probably the sine qua non of hippies. It's not really even speech. It's just this sort of assault on one's ears, and when you're whining, you're just annoying other people, but you're not solving problems, and that's why it's one of the things you can do.
All right, and so who are the biggest offenders of this modern hippie ethos, in your opinion, Frank?
Well, I mean, there's certain people out there who certainly encourage whining and like, oh, let's yell, let's have everybody solve things. I think it's the whole idea of having the government come in and fix things instead of fixing things yourself. I mean, if we had a really functional government, you complain to them, they go like, I don't care, handle that yourself. I mean, that's not my problem. If Canada's invading, we'll handle it. Otherwise, you're on your own. And, that would encourage the independent spirit, but we don't have that. And I think well, the thing is that all this hippie influence has gotten into everybody, and that's why we all have this inner hippie who complains and tells us we can't achieve things, and it's the cause of our failure. And that's why my book explains how you punch that inner hippie, and it can finally unlock your full potential as an American.
Well, in the 1960s, you had like Timothy Leary kind of leading the charge and some other hippies, as it were. Today, can you tell us some people who you think are out there on the forefront promoting this type of ideology?
Well, I think you have an argument with the current president who's trying to offer to solve problems for us, and hey, I'll make health care available for everybody. And it's that expansion of government. Let's have that solve our problems instead of, hey, you're on your own, you solve your problems. That's causing this hippie influence in us.
Frank, what do you think the advantages are of punching, as you say, your inner hippie?
Well, when you science has proven this, when you punch a hippie, he tends to shut up, and that is what you want to do to your inner hippie, because he's always saying, oh, this is too hard, have somebody else do this for you, and you want that voice inside you to shut up. And as I explain, the way to do that, to punch your inner hippie, is to be awesome. And I explain the four pillars of being awesome in my book, which are independence, gratitude, ambition, and confidence. And when you work on those four things, you become so awesome that your hippie just can't stand up to you anymore.
Now, you mentioned the title, Get a Job. That was often talked about when referring to hippies. Is this some way geared, back in the 1960s, late 60s, early 70s, but today in the title of your book, is this geared towards this new generation, a lot of folks who say they can't find a job, the younger generation, recent college grads?
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's like, oh, woe is me. I mean, if you want a job, just start doing something, get people to pay money for it. I mean, there's not, everybody's got, like, they feel they're privileged, they got this certain, you know, they want this special job they feel they deserve. And that's just, you know, that's part of that hippie privilege where you're going to whine until you get what you think you deserve. But you don't deserve anything. You, in this country, already have way more than you deserve. You have to work to earn what you already have, really.
All right, Frank Fleming, author of Punch Your Inner Hippie, an interesting thesis anyway. Blaming hippies for a lot of the bad we're seeing in America today. You see the title right there. Available on Amazon.